let's segue from that. Let's get to our main thing for the day.
Mm.
Today's actual main topic of the day was who has it harder in the dating world,
Mm,
men
mm, mm.
or women? And we're gonna let Chris go first on this subject, then Alexa.
Okay.
Chris, who has it harder in the dating world,
Brother,
men or
if,
women?
when you say
And
who
be
has it
honest.
harder in the dating world, men or women, and an argument can be made, right? That either have it harder. But from my experience, I would just say that women have it harder, but what makes it harder for either responding a match for what you really want, what you're looking for in dating, it comes down to a lot of things. Like where you are right here, right now, hurt, pain. We talk about expectations, right? Talk about the opportunists, the liars, the spitting game per people. Um, Trust. We talk about sexual compatibility. Because you're not gonna have nobody in your space. You might care the hell about. They might be a good motherfucker, but if you can't satisfy you or learn you, that ain't gonna work. We talk about sexuality and gender in this day and age. You got race, you got religion, education standards, class status. Have somebody been married before, they divorced, or you in a separation type of situation? Uh, your children, your family situations, a recent breakup, you got a heartbreak you carrying on your shoulder, and you did your all. you know, and a lot of us are entrepreneurs, right? So we got work, business, um, um, I songwrite, artist, your scheduling, your time, your communication. You got consistency, effort, love languages, somebody's empathy or lack of emotion. Uh, Somebody got no vision. Somebody got no future. Um, you could be viewed as something to do, entertainment. Um, Most times, as men, we are logical. Women are more emotional. So there's a connection, discord there. It's a lot with that, bro. Like, we don't necessarily want to express how we really feeling, so it comes out in anger or we lash out. When women want to see kind of a balance, like, can you take control sometime? Can you lay back? Can you, you know, what do you want to see? It's about expectations. So I'm gonna throw that out there like that, and um, but I really like women have it worse because um, like women can get sex, but men can get sex, but where's that? It's just a whole bunch in between that's a void. Does that make sense?
So yeah, I mean, I hear everything you're saying. But your final answer is women have it harder. Am
I
I hearing that correct?
I think they have it harder because they're the ones really being pushed towards the white picket fence, the kids, this, not, and the third, blah 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 blah. Whereas though as men, um, we ain't got to commit to none of that shit. We can get into you, but we ain't got to do none of that shit. So there has to be some type of ground where we can work on things and we can get to that when we're ready as individuals and couples together. There's an individual path
Mhm.
for who we are, but there's a relationship path as well. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Alexa?
Oh Lord. I'm gonna say this. Look,
In a compact manner, let's give your answer.
okay.
I know you can do this for 5 hours.
Definitely women, and I'll say that because women are still in Oz. They haven't came back to Kansas, and I try to encourage as many women as I can, leave Oz and realize that at the end of the day, there's no such thing as dating. Okay. There's no such thing as dating. If you go on any strip mall right now, you go on any strip mall and you knock on every one of them damn doors, every food place, every nail place, and get an application, okay? Get a job application. And I want you to scroll down on that application to the part where it says your status. You're going to see two things: married or single. Show me an application that says dating. You won't find one.
What?
You will not find a job application that says dating. You know why? Because dating is a fairy tale. It's the idea that you are.
That one to me.
It's the idea that you are committed without committing. The truth is, the Western world, this Western world, they date. But the truth is, the rest of the world know what it really is. You're married or you're single. And honestly, nobody can even cheat on you. If you're dating, you can't even be cheated on because there's no contract. Now, somebody can hurt your feelings. They can lie. They can mislead you. But if you are not engaged or engaged to be married or married, you're single. I don't care how much you love somebody. You can fall in love with somebody, but you're single. And you just got to accept the fact that you are single. And I'm speaking from experience. I done fell in love with people and been like, oh, you cheated on me. But the truth is, I have to take a step back and say, this nigga couldn't cheat on me. we ain't got no dang agreement.
It's Allen Iverson. It's practice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Until you make it known that you want to marry somebody, you are both single. Dating is invented. Now, if you want to be monogamous with somebody and you trust that they're going to be monogamous, then hey, hopefully it works out. But until you can show me dating on a job application, it's going to remain a fairy tale. There's no such thing as dating. You're married or you're single. And that's my answer.
Yeah.
I have to strongly disagree with that. The word dating does exist. There's a reason why there's dating apps. Reason why people date online and date in person to find out if they are qualified to eventually get married.
Get your shit off.
I can't agree with the.
It exists, but it's not valid.
It is very valid because that's how people meet each other to get married, is through dating. At least over here now, in the last 2000, I'll say less 70 years or so. That is a new concept. I will give you that, because dating didn't really exist. They had another word for it. Pitch and woo. They had another word. You heard that phrase before?
Yes, I have. But the thing is, though, when you date, you got to realize you're dating. That means that person can date anybody they want.
They can.
Until they pick somebody that they're engaged to, you don't got no rights on them.
Okay.
You don't got no rights on them.
No, if y'all agree on that and saying we're dating and we're going to be monogamous between each other, you have rights on that. You can cheat in marriage. There's nothing in there that says you can't cheat. You can file divorce based off of infidelity. But
you
can't cheat
in marriage. That's grounds for divorce.
You can cheat all. That's if you want it that way. That's if you don't agree with
but
that.
I'm saying there's
there's people that have relationships and have open marriages and still can go out. And if they disagree, all of a sudden, I don't want an open marriage anymore. That's because they can change that grounds within the marriage. If Will Smith cheats on Jada Pinkett, all of a sudden they say, hey, I don't want an open marriage no more. I want to change it within there. They don't go and grab a piece of paper and say, let's change the wording into the paperwork for being married. They agree on that verbally. And then if something happens where it's not an open marriage, they can file for infidelity within the marriage.
Even
But it's not like they lose money or something just based off of that. They agree on that beforehand. The law for divorce, it can happen, but that's something still two people agree on. That's not something written within any paperwork.
Well, it's still a contract, even if it's a verbal contract.
It's not a contract where it's broken just because of that, though. You have to file for divorce for that to happen and agree to file for divorce. You can continue cheating and the marriage can continue the whole time. The same way with a relationship. You can continue cheating, the relationship can keep going, or you can cheat and the relationship can break apart. Same thing with dating. The only thing with this is, the thing is, there were no, you know why there were marriage certificates even printing up in the first place?
For the state to be in your business, basically.
No, that wasn't the reason it was done. The reason it was done was to track interracial relationships.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion of all time, who was involved illegally, married to a white woman. That was one of the reasons why now you have to pay and have certificates for marriage. That wasn't always the case, but that times have changed with that. And like I said, dating was not always a thing. In other societies, like I mentioned earlier, pitch and woo, making your case or whatever, you go talk to the father or whatever until you give out your case, your evidence for being a good husband. And he would just say, okay, I think you're a good man for my daughter. And you had no choice but to go with him. But, since the feminist movement has came up, women have more rights and have more choice in what they can do now.
You going to blame that on the feminist movement? Or how about just advancement?
Men did, but that's the feminist movement.
So you don't think a woman should have a choice in her day?
I didn't say no. Now you put words in my mouth. The feminist movement is the reason why there is dating now. Men didn't care about dating. Would you think the guy would rather go through the path of least resistance and just say, hey, father, this is me. I'm a good guy. Give me your daughter. They'd rather do that than go through dating. When women got more rights in what they had to say, then dating came about. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it or whatever, but that's the reality. That's what really happened. That's history. Women had more rights to pick who they want to be with and other rights in other aspects. And so now they're like, well, you're going to actually have to date me to convince me to be married to you. Not saying there's nothing wrong with it. That's great. I'm just saying that's what happened. If it wasn't like that, then it would happen the old way where you just go to the father and the father be like, you're a good pick. You're going to go with him. You have no choice in the matter. They do that in other countries still. Not the United States. I don't agree with that. Just saying.
That's crazy.
That's what happened. That's what happened with time. But I didn't even get to go with my answer yet. But my answer would be, as far as dating is concerned, I would say men have it worse. Okay. And I would say because men have to have a lot more. And I'm not talking about the end game all the way to marriage. I can go through the steps, but to begin with, to get your foot in the door, as we were talking with earlier, to get your foot in the door, let's start with that. I think men have it harder for that.
Yes.
I think, let's just say you had one guy here and a woman on this side. This woman, let's say, I'm just talking about beginning steps of going on a date or just having sex. Let's just go with that. No, let's just say go on a date. If a guy had 100 women DM him right now, I'm talking about a young guy, teenager, 20s, whatever, DM him and say, I would like to go on a date with you or do more with you, he would probably agree to most of those. I say 90 to 100% of those. On the other end, if a woman had 100 guys trying to get with her, she would be a little bit more picky with that. And not saying that's wrong with that, because she doesn't want just anybody messing with her. She doesn't want to be settled down with just anybody. She don't want to have sex with just anybody. She don't want to have a kid with just anybody. So she's going to be a little bit more picky. She has different reasons why she wants to go on a date than the guy does. The young guy may just want to get his rocks off, or he may just want to date every last one of those women. So they have an easier chance of getting with him versus female if she values herself, she's going to pick and choose and like, well, what quality he's had, what quality does he have? Or it may be just sex with her, but she's only going to choose one of those 100. So the success rate is going to be different just to start off with. Then guys also too, even so being so as you're a little bit younger, you're probably not going to think in terms of trying to even get married in your 20s. Now, I'm not saying every woman does, but a lot of women do. A majority of women want a fairy tale or want to be married at some point. She's still going to filter who she wants to go through. Like, okay, for example, I know women do like a good-looking guy, but I don't think that's the first thing on their list. But if we do go for the physical, what is one of the things that women do want from a guy that, for the physical standpoint? They want a guy that is not short. The average height in this country is 5'9" for a guy. The average height, based on these statistics here, that 73% of women would like their guy to be 5'9" and taller. This is a statistic done by GQ magazine. Now, we can't change our height. That is genetic. Once our height, 5'8", 6'2", whatever, we're done. We can't do anything to it. Women, if we desire for them to have a certain body, whether it be 200 pounds, 300 pounds, or 150 pounds, that's something that can always change. So if a woman wants to work her way to a desirable body size to pick up more men, she can do that. We're already out the game once we're not 5'9". If we're shorter than, there's nothing we can do about that. Also, economic wise, a guy really doesn't care how much money you make. For most guys, if a guy, let's say if a guy's successful, is making pretty good money, if you're homeless, that's not gonna matter to a guy. You're like, I'll take you in or whatever. You're good. If a guy is homeless and a woman wants to be with him, that's probably going to turn her away. So that's already going to cut down on that on top of that. The girl's not going to want to be mostly with a homeless guy or a guy that's not inspired to do anything. Economically, he's out the window. It's not the same thing if a woman has no aspirations to do anything or has no job or anything. This is just the beginning stages when it comes to just dating, getting your foot in the door. If you have intent, if both of y'all have intent to get married, more women would prefer that you're at least making some money or making a good amount of money if y'all going to be together. If you're going to be equal partners, I think women would more desire that than if you just are not doing anything with your life. On the other end, most guys don't care if you're equal partners or not, unless your person happens to be a gold digger. And I hate that term has been misused, where now people are conflating gold digger with someone who's just being supported. Gold digger came about, I think, like in the 90s or early 2000s when they started making songs about gold diggers. A gold digger is not the same type of person as someone who is just supported. A gold digger is somebody who goes above and beyond, wanting what you cannot afford, or wanting you only for what you can afford and for nothing else. Because if that's the case, you would say every female in the history before they were able to go to work or before they were able to be equal on the job front was a gold digger. No, they were just being supported by their husband. They wasn't gold diggers. They're gold diggers if that's all they want from you, or they excessively want financial gains from you. That's conflating the two. They're not the same. But again, what I'm saying is the way we view getting into a marriage and the end game for marriage for men and women are different. I think it changes as we get older. Women, I think, mature faster when it comes to what they want out of a marriage first than guys. Guys catch up a little bit later in their 30s and 40s. Then they catch up for what the women wanted in their 20s or so. I think that's the misrepresentation between the two genders. So if there is a problem, I guess, with dating, I would say for the end game for women, they can't reach it at probably the same age as guys want at their age. If a girl is 25 and a guy's 25, they probably don't have the same end goals. But if a girl 25 dates a guy 40-year-old, they probably have the same goals in mind. I don't think that's a problem for them at all.
Right.
But I'll finish with that. I'll finish with my other point, but I got some other things to say. But if y'all got any rebuttals to that?